Okay, today I thought we would have a look at a new pistol that I just got. I have switched our whole family over, got away from all the plastic pistols, got away from all the 9mm girl bullets, and we have gone the 1911 route. I bought a whole bunch of different 1911s, but I was missing one. I didn't have one that was like I carried back in my Navy days, and I wanted a GI pistol. I wanted one I could use on the farm to knock around with and not have to worry about it. And I watch a lot of unboxing, and people like to open the box and show you all the stuff, so I thought I'd get that out of the way first. Here's the stuff that comes in your box. You get a nice owner's manual, you get a couple of nice walnut grips, you got this tool that you'll never use, a couple of cleaning items here, you got the little flag, a little plastic lock that'll never get used, and then a tag that tells you what you got in the box. A forged frame 1911 pistol, 45 ACP caliber, Series 70 internal. That's what Colt designed. That's a great safety and trigger setup. Uses standard 1911 magazines, and it is hardened before machining, which is not an easy thing to do, but it gives you a lot better tolerances. So what's in the box? You already got all the goodies out of the box. Yeah, this box is actually not for a pistol. I'll show you what they've done with this box. This thing has got an O-ring seal in it. It's very heavy duty. I'm gonna move this pistol right here for a second. This thing is nice. Now, when you go to the range, you should have your pistol, have it close by. I carry mine on my hip. This is the leather for it. And look, this is what comes in the box. See that? Isn't that nice? Boy, that is nice. Now, let's get a count on this. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So you got 22, 44, 66, 88, 110, and that's 2 layers, so that's 220. This will actually hold 1 more layer, so you can put 330 bullets. These are my hand loads, nice light target loads. You can put 330, put your foam in the top. I took foam out of another box because I bought 2 of these. One a little smaller for my wife, the nice TISAS. It's a Stingray commander size aluminum frame. So I took the guts out of her box. I've got a pad in the bottom, a pad on the top, and you can put 330 rounds of 45 ACP. So that's handy, and it's a good strong box. We'll get that out of the way. So here's the pistol. Here's the leather. This is a great leather company, $17.91. They sent me that holster to try out and keep for about 1,000 years. So that's a great holster, made out of really good cowhide. Let's take a look at this pistol. So here's what I found out about the pistol when I first got it. Okay, brand new out of the box. I've already shot this some. I had to try it out so that you know that I know what I'm talking about on this thing. I've had a lot of 1911s through the years, but this is one of my favorites. This one is actually a throwback. This is a historical throwback to the days. I got it on my phone. I believe it was Remington Rand typewriter company. This is, I think, after World War I. World War II started up. They wanted to change the pistol. So here's what TISAS has come up with. By the way, TISAS, although it is in Turkey, is also American. There's an American TISAS, a Turkey TISAS. Some of our men that work on these, women and men that work on these, are veterans. Some of the, a lot of the programming that's done to cut these to the GI mil spec are done right here in the United States. So you are supporting some U.S. veterans when you buy one of these guns. The 1911 A1 Armed Services Family, that's what you'll see this referred to. It is abbreviated ASF. So if you see one of these on their website or in your gun store that says ASF, it has that lanyard on the bottom. I put the plastic grips on mine, but if you see this pistol, that's the one we're talking about. This is a very popular series of 1911, current production by TISAS USA. This new edition creates a more accurate representation of the 1911 A1 Remington Rand that was manufactured between 1943 and 1945. This has the Type E hammer. That was something that they added on this gun. That's kind of a narrow hammer, and it's got a little bit of texture on the base of it, but that's a small hammer, and I think they shortened it a little bit so it doesn't bite you. It has that. The E-hammer has a non-beveled magazine well, and you can see that right there. It is a reprofiled ejection port. That's something you look for if you want to be a military type of a gun. You'll notice that there's a round over here on the top. These are rounded on the top, and just about the time you get to old slab side, right at that straight edge there, that's where the ejection port starts, right there. So that means this is going to eject your rounds right at the top. Mine don't fall on my head. They usually go right over my head and land right behind me in a nice, neat pile. And we'll talk about why that is later. No problem at all. My brass is in good shape. I've already reloaded a bunch out of here, and it didn't hurt the brass at all. So this is a representation. They did such a good job on this, TISAS did, that a company called the Civilian Marksmanship Program has a 1911 shoot I think every year, maybe more often than that. But anyway, this pistol qualified as a 1911 service pistol. So it is considered good enough quality to play that part. I mean, it has all the specs, all the right size parts and everything as the old Remington Rand. But you don't have to spend $1,000 buying an old beat up one when you could have yourself a brand new one. So that's a nice feature. So it is a new faithful reproduction of the 1943 Remington Rand M1911A1, and it's clearly marked down here on it, U.S. government property, M1911A1. This slide on this thing is slick, man. I thought I got a lunchbox special. Back in the day, during the war, if somebody got a gun had no serial numbers on it, they called it a lunchbox special. That means kind of like Johnny Cash's movie, they built a Cadillac one piece at a time. He was working in the Cadillac factory, or that's what the song was about. And some of those guys back in the days at Colt and Remington Rand and Singer Sewing Machine, they'd be working in the factory and they'd slip out a frame, and then they'd slip out a slide and slip out a barrel. Next thing you know, they're at the house, they put all their pieces together, and they had them a brand new stolen pistol. But it would say serial number, and then it would be dashed, there'd be nothing, no numbers there. I thought that's what I got. So I went on the forum, 1911 forum, and started talking to some boys on there, and they said, no, you got you one of those that's actually called the Armed Services Family. It is stamped Army on the side, U.S. Army, but it is an Armed Services Family pistol, and it is that reproduction of the Remington Rand 1943 to 1945. The company's new take on an American military wartime classic was officially shown to the public early at this year's SHOT Show, and the TISAS called it the 1911 A1 ASF, Armed Services Family. Now, I will tell you that they have a lot of these pistols. They build a whole bunch of these in all different, they've got a tanker, they've got them in commander size, they've got nickel plated. My wife's is aluminum frame. They got them every which way. But if you want one that's the closest to the old GI, the old military gun, this is it right here. Now, I want to talk about some things I've done to this already. When I first got it, it came in the box and it had these beautiful Turkish walnut grips on it, and I didn't want them to get hurt in any way. This, like I say, gonna be a farm gun. I'm gonna knock it around on the farm. I'm gonna wear it daily. I'll stick it in my cowhide there, and I'm gonna wear it. Well, if chickens get to chasing after me, or a big old mean snake, or you know, whatever, a rabid skunk or something, now I've got me a tool. That's all the gun is, it's a tool. Or if I'm working, I got a board and I need to poke a hole through the board to stick a rope through it, tie a knot in there or something, I got a way to make a quick hole. So that's good for that too. I love this gun because this one, I'm going to be careful with it. I'm not going to just drag it or run over it with a Jeep, but I don't want to scratch up my fancier guns. I've got some guns that are one notch from being a safe queen. I do want to zoom in on this so you can see a little bit better. It's starting to get dark out here on me. Okay, now I'll put this little tag right here. Maybe I can use that as a target so I don't get too far out of scope with this thing. But I really like this gun. Now, I'll talk to you about what I've done to it. I wanted to really keep it looking like the old GI gun. I really wanted to do that. So like I said, I went ahead and took the walnut grips off and I put these on. These are not exactly like the military, but you can go on eBay and you can find some old dude that's got a whole sack full of these from the World War II days, and some of them are more expensive than others. I think some of them were Bakelite or some kind of special plastic, who knows. on that. But anyway, you can get the exact grips if that happens to be your thing. This is an A1. It does have the curved mainspring housing. It does have the extended tang on the back, which I like, that extended tang. It's not a high rod beaver tail, but that extended safety right here, your grip safety, has a little extended tang on that. That tends to keep you from getting that slide bite or hammer bite, however you want to call it, different things it can do to bite you. But this thing it's really nice. I mean, the safety works perfect. I do like, that's kind of one of my things. I'm a snob when it comes to safeties. I want it to be click up and down. I want it to be up is on and click, down have a nice snick to it, and then not go any further. And this one meets that criteria. It's well fitted. That doesn't all happen here. Some of that happens internally because you're in thousandths of an inch to make that happen. Say, what else did you do to it? Well, I didn't change the mag. I kept it factory. These mags are made by Metgar. These are Italian mags. Some people throw a little bit of a fit because the number of holes is not exactly, I think the military one had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one has 6, and it is labeled. You won't see it out here as it's getting dark, but it's labeled 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a factory 7-round mag. The follower is a little bit better than the old military. I guarantee you the spring in there's better. But I have shot this several times. It has not failed to lock back. It has not failed to do anything. It functions perfect. Now, here is the problem that I have with these, and I'm not making fun. I'm just giving you some information here, okay? Giving you info. When you buy a gun from TISAS, the first thing that you'll notice when you pick it up and try to rack the slide is you got to be Superman to rack the slide on them. You got to be Superman or Superwoman to be able to cock the hammer. The hammer will be super stiff. Now, the factory guns in a 5-inch government model gun should have a hammer spring of 23 pounds. Your factory recoil spring should be a 16-pound spring. This one felt like about a 30, and this one felt like about a 20. So the first thing I do is I get on the website with Wolf, and I ordered me a reduced hammer spring. You do not need the super heavy hammer spring because you're not driving a steel 45 caliber firing pin. These have 9mm firing pins in them, which means they're smaller diameter. They are made out of titanium, which is very light, very fast. It drives like a nail, like a small finishing nail. So you can put in a nice 18-pound spring here that reduces your hammer. So that means when you're cycling the slide, you're now not working against so much spring on the hammer. So that's one thing that I did. The next thing I did, so my wife can shoot it, is I got rid of the 20 or 22 or 23 pound recoil spring in here and put a Wolf 14-pound variable rate recoil spring. 14 pounds. So, well, that's awful wimpy. Yeah, but we shoot light loads. Light recoil spring goes with light loads. It will still function with a regular standard GI ball load, but you wouldn't want to do that very much because you're going to beat your frame up. There's no reason to do that. For what I do here on the farm, I'm shooting a bullet out of that barrel there at about 750 feet a second with a light load. It works just fine. But here's the beauty of it. Man, when you go to cycle that slide, look at that thing. I mean, here's one finger and one thumb. They cut these cutouts on here are razor sharp, man. I don't know what kind of machine they use, but they've cut that at a severe angle, and your hand will not slip on those, not at all. So I pull it to the rear, and I mean, it just makes it really smooth. So I like lightweight springs on the hammer. The other thing, so I've changed that spring, the recoil spring. I changed the hammer spring, and one more spring I went ahead and bought from Wolf was the flat spring that's in here that controls, it's a 2-stage trigger, and it also controls this safety. I like my safety to be good and stout, so I have it sprung pretty heavy, but you don't need a speed bump on these. Watch this, this is very clear. I'm pulling the trigger, and then I'll push that down, and you'll see the trigger fall, the hammer fall. So it doesn't take very much, about halfway down, and it's good to go. So you don't need the speed bump. But I have set this trigger now. It was from the factory about 9 pounds. I didn't think I was ever going to be able to hit anything with it because you'd get your sights all lined up and you'd be real happy with your sight picture. And then you start trying to pull and you pull off a little bit because the trigger was that heavy. So I got a nice light trigger now. It's 3 1/4. The only thing I've got left is I am going to take I bought some Testors modeling paint, and I'm going to paint that front sight with some nice gold paint just on the front edge of that so my old eyes can pick that up. Now, I wondered if I'd be able to hit anything after doing the trigger job on it. Here's what I did. I took this, put it on sandbag rest, and there's my target using a 6 o'clock Navy hold. And that means you take your front sight and your rear sight, flush it up together, and then push the whole picture until it just touches the black. And you can see what happened. 3 shots went in the same hole. Put my pinky through there. 3 shots in the same hole, and that's only at 7 yards, but that's good indication there's nothing wrong with this barrel. And nothing wrong with the way the barrel is really fit to the slide good. There's no slack at all. There's no slack here. There's a little bit of slide to frame, like not near as slack as a GI gun, but it's enough to make it good and reliable and easy to field strip, take apart, put together. I love this gun. Say, what about me? Should I get one of these? All right, listen. You're gonna fall into one of 20 different categories, and I'm gonna read these off like a crazy machine gun man. Let's put that just like that. I could answer a million more questions, but we don't have time for all that tonight. You know what? Let's get this leather involved here. That leather's awful beautiful. Thank you to 1791 Leather Company. If you want to get yourself a beautiful leather holster, let's see how I can get that where it looks pretty, and does a good job of holding that. Man, that thing is a two-tone. I love these holsters. It's got the sweat guard. It's got even a little place there cut out for your safety, keeps it in place. That thing is double stitched everywhere it needs to be and single where it doesn't. It's beautiful. Heavy, heavy duty holster. So you're gonna fall in one of these 20 categories that I'm about to read here. And let's see which one you are, okay? Now listen carefully. I'm gonna read through these like I say, like a machine gun. Let me check my camera one more time. I may need to zoom out just a little bit. All right, so let's see which category that you're gonna fall. You're gonna fall into one of these categories. I don't know which one it's gonna be, but you'll be able to figure it out here pretty quick. Number 1, you might be a bargain lover. That's a good reason to get one of these right here, so you're a bargain lover. Number 2, you might be just a 1911 lover. Number 3, you're a current owner of some super safe queens, 1911s that just cannot be used. They're in your safe, you polish them and you oil them and you take good care of them, and you just don't want to ever have a scratch on them. You can't carry them out in the weather. You definitely wouldn't want to knock them around the farm. So this would keep you from having to worry about your safe queens ever again, because you can put a scratch on this, no big deal. This is a parkerized finish, so you can take the parts, throw it in a tank, reparkerize them, you're good to go. Number 5, you just want one to learn on, a base gun to tinker with. Maybe you want to take the extractor out and learn how to file it and play with the extractor. Or maybe you want to put a different barrel, some match grade barrel, or a different barrel bushing, or maybe you just want to learn how to take one completely apart and clean all the parts real good. These are great guns for that. You're not going to hurt anything. Number 7, maybe you're just ready to ditch the plastic. Maybe you're tired, sick and tired of seeing all the, one YouTube after another about the perfect plastic gun and perfection and more plastic and more plastic. And one guy put it up on the dash one day out in the hot Arizona sun, and it melted his Glock and went down into the vents, it melted. And he was really disappointed. You're not gonna melt one of these. These things are super, super stout. Number 8, maybe you want one like Grandpa had when he was in the war. And he pulls his out, and he's got his Remington Rand or his Singer, or maybe he's got an old Colt or something, then you can pull yours out and y'all can compare, shoot together with each other and compare your guns and talk about some good old stories and things that he did during the war. So number 9, you want one like a movie star like Bruce Willis. I tell you what, if you want to see somebody blazing away, not only with one, but 2 of them in shoulder holsters, you got to watch Bruce Willis's movie, Last Man Standing. He's got 2 of these. So, well, that's only a 7-shot gun. Man, he has that thing. He's got his 7 here. I think he tops them off. He's got 8 here. He's got one in each hand, and every time he runs up on some guys, he fires 16 shots. It shows him reloading everything, but good night, man. He blazes away. He'll make you just want a 1911 just to sit around there. I just sit around with mine and point it at the light socket on the wall or something, you know, just light switch during the movie just so I can pretend like I'm there. So that's a good reason. Number 11, you want an iconic World War II pistol. Number 12, you want a super cool barbecue gun. Man, you strap that thing to your hip with some nice cow leather like that, this 1791 holster right there. You put one of those on you, put that in there and get you some good ball ammo and load up on that and show up hungry, and you'll be a real hit at the barbecue. Number 13, you want to catch up with all your 1911 buddies. All of them got 1911s, and maybe you're stuck in the plastic world. Maybe you've got an XD, or you've got some kind of a Glock, or maybe you've got I don't know, you got some kind of a plastic gun and you're just tired of plastic. You want to be with have some 1911 buddies. Number 14, maybe you got a curiosity factor. You heard that these are junk, but you see these big multi-million-dollar companies, they're building them that cost $4,000 or $5,000. And you're thinking, man, if Wilson Combat's building one of these that costs $5,000, they're probably not junk. I'm kind of curious about whether I could get one of these and it would shoot good, and maybe I could have a $400 gun that looks like those, maybe put a few custom parts on it and dress it up, and I could be like the big boys, so you run with the 1911 crowd. Let's see, maybe number 15, you're ready to ditch the 9mm and ready for a man's caliber. Now, I hate to say this, but you can, not this particular one, but this company does make the 1911 pistol in 9mm, and they do make it in 45. It handles the 45 better. It's no problem at all. Number 16, you want to get a super cool gift for your dad, for your grandpa, for your son, for your grandson's daughter, for your granddaughter, for your wife, or for a friend. Now, I'm telling you, tell your wife she needs a really nice gun for self-protection, and buy her a nice 1911. So, well, that one's too big. Well, get her a Commander. So that's too heavy. Well, get her a Commander with aluminum frame. You're all set. But get her one of these to start off with and train with. So, hey, the next time we get a tax return, just kick in 4 hondos and a little bit of tax money, and next thing you know, you've got one, she's got one, get all the kids one. Get one for your dog. You know, everybody needs to have 1911 laying around the house. You have here's another one, number 18. Maybe you have a 4.25 Commander size, and you've always wanted a 5-inch government model. Here's your chance. You can get a nice 5-inch gun. These are by far the most reliable of all the guns. You don't want an officer model at 3 inches. It's too short. Things are happening too fast. It doesn't give the magazine time to put any rounds up in there. A Commander can get by with it, but the most dependable of all, this is not my opinion, this is a fact. If you don't believe me, get on the internet and follow after Mr. Hilton Yam. Mr. Hilton Yam service built and worked on them for the FBI for 20 plus years, and he will tell you, if you want to listen, you really want dependability, go with 45. You really want dependability, shoot ball ammo. You really want dependability, you need a 5-inch gun. 5-inch steel gun, no special ramping, just a 5-inch government style steel gun, and you'll have something dependable. Maybe number 19, you want to have an EDC carry that's got the thinness. Now, I'm telling you, people say, oh, that thing's heavy, that thing's big. Yeah, but you get a nice holster like that. That thing, look at that thing. It's got the curvature for your hips, and it's double thick layer, and now you have to put plastic bags over these at first. When you get one of these from this company, 1791, make sure you do what they say for break-in. Put about 3 sandwich bags on there, shove it in there. It's gonna be hard to do. Make sure your safety's locked so you can really, gun unloaded, and shove it in there good, and then leave it in there. I left mine overnight. And what happens is the leather will expand out a little bit. See, steamroll these, and they're kind of shrunk down when you first get them. But you leave it in there with them plastic bags like the company tells you to do. Don't be like me, don't be hard-headed. And leave plastic bags, leave it on the gun. And in the morning, like Christmas morning, you pull that gun out, and you pull those plastic bags off and get rid of all them. Now you can load it up and it'll go in there smooth. It still won't fall. I mean, that's a very stout hold. But you get you one of these just because they're so darn popular. I mean, that's number 20. But you can use that for carry. That can strap to your hip right there. You see that curvature, and you tie that in tight to your hip. You can take an overgarment, just a nice long tail shirt, throw over it, get you one of those khaki looking vests like they wear in Australia. Very lightweight cotton, even in the summertime. You can wear a sleeveless one and let the tail hang down, and you're a concealed carry if you're so inclined. In Arkansas, we can run open carry. Now, I want to tell you something else about this gun before I jump. I'm getting in a little bit of a rush because I think supper's almost ready. This was at 7 yards, but I want you to know this. This gun right here, there's been some people tested this in a ransom rest with hand loads and was able to shoot 2-inch groups, 2-inch and under groups at 40 yards. So if you're worried about accuracy, say, well, that's an old GI gun, it's gonna be loose as a goose, not gonna be accurate. This is gonna be more accurate than you could shoot. I guarantee you, this thing is accurate. And I have already put some cans out in the yard, out 15, 20 yards out, filled them with water, and I was popping those cans, especially after I got my trigger work done. But tomorrow, we're gonna take this thing out. I'll do some shooting tomorrow. Maybe you'll get to see it on my video. I'm gonna go ahead and that front sight's just blank, man. It's just dark. And I'll take that gold metallic Testors modeling paint. I bought a little tube of it for $3, came in the mail yesterday. And I'll paint just the front sight gold, leave everything else factory, and it'll still look like a military gun, especially in the holster. And we're gonna shoot this thing and have a blast. So just get you one for fun, if nothing else, 400 bucks. I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna beat yourself when you see this gun a year or two from now and these are $600, $700. You're gonna throw yourself a fit. So this one was priced at $349.99, so $350 is what it's priced at. And with tax and everything, I think I was right at 400 bucks. And I'm telling you, you're not gonna beat this gun. Now, I know the Norinco was a big one years ago, but it looked like a cheap Chinese gun. It had some good steel in it, and people put all kinds of fancy parts on them. And at the end of the day, you still had a cheap Chinese Norinco. I did not ever go that route. I didn't like that route. Springfield Armory for a while did sell a GI gun, and it was a nice gun. But they don't sell a GI gun now. They sell one called a mil spec, and they're not trying to make it look like the old military gun. It has some features to it that are, but it doesn't have the original military sights. It doesn't have the high ejection port like this, and this does not cause a problem with ejection for me. It doesn't have the curved mainspring housing, doesn't have the lanyard. It just doesn't have the things that make it look like a true GI gun. So I hope that you enjoyed this nice video, and I want to give a shout out to all my friends, my new friends on the 1911 forum. There's a guy on there by the name of Steve from Allentown, and he's an expert at the extractor and probably many other areas. But if you ever have a problem with an extractor, and by the way, I'm very happy with these. You take a factory extractor out of one of these and it's tuned pretty good. It's got some radiuses polished on it on the right places. The nose of it's got a little polish, and when you put it against the shell, it's riding right on the pressure band where it's supposed to be. The tip of the extractor is not touching the case. They have tuned these and set them up right. These run reliable right out of the box. And if they don't, get online, talk to me a little bit, and I'll get you over there to Mr. Steve or one of the other fellas over there on the 1911 forum, and we'll get you up and running. So hope this was encouraging to you. Please tap that like and subscribe. And I do have a little super thanks, $2 thing to get me some coffee. You can tap one of those if you got you $2 worth of goodness out of it. So thank y'all for listening. Over and out for now.